I just want to start saying that I bet there's quite a few triathletes here listening to this right now thinking, leg kick, what's that all about? Because I know a lot of triathletes that they basically just drag their feet, and they're saying we want to save our legs for the run and for the bike. But I always maintain that it's a really important and often overlooked aspect that triathletes should think about and train. And I'll go into that in a bit. But leg kick is definitely important. Don't use your pull days as your leg rest day. Utilize the pull, basically. So go on, Marcus.
Well, that's actually a really, really good jump into this call. I have these friends who come and train with me every now and then. So in the beginning, it was always at the pool where I usually go. At the beginning of my project, I started myself and I went there, and then suddenly I had another guy, hey, can I swim with you and whatsoever? And these were pure triathletes. And then they said, well, can we participate in it? You tell us what you do, and we try to do the same thing and swim with you. So I do then interval sets or sessions with a lot of kicks inside. And they were like, why would you kick? Why would you use fins? Why would you do that? Don't you just like put a pool board between your legs and paddles and just like, you need to have your arms and whatsoever? I said, no, hold on a second. The better you kick, and this is actually a saying it is a statement which I bring out, the better your kicking is, the more balanced you are in the water. There is always exceptions to that rule, but the better you're able to kick your legs and control your legs, the better your balance in water is, the better you can train controlling your arms and everything. So for me, it starts with the kick, and that helps the rest of it. Not the kick, the arms start and gets to help the kicks. And when I put out videos on my social media accounts, on Instagram, YouTube, and whatsoever, they always say, "Oh, you have such a nice 2B kick and or 4B kick. How do you do that? What is the mechanics?" I can tell you all about the mechanics, but if you haven't mastered a proper hip starting 6B kick, if you haven't mastered that, you will not be able to do as balanced 2B kick like I have, and you will not be able to improve your arm technique or your front, like your stroke technique, to an element which actually gives you the most distance per stroke. So when I come back to the people who now train with me, they started realizing what I do with the kicks, and they started to realize that their lower body strength and their leg kicks, they get more balanced in the water, ergo they're lying flatter in the water, ergo they realize that they can focus more on the arms because the kicks just do what they need to do, and they are used to it. And with fins, obviously you enhance that because you will never be able to kick out of your knees with your fins. If you have longer fins and shorter fins, you will not be able to. And so over time, and we talk about 2.5 years in, they are now preaching that to other people, and they look like, oh, why, I'm going to do cycling, I'm going to do running afterwards, why would you do that? Yes, in the competition you might, but in the training you would always do that. You would always train fully fledged 6B kick there. That's just for my sake. So that's why there is also another saying which I always say is there: my legs will never get tired. My arms might, but my legs won't. And this is specifically for pool swimming, but it helps to understand what I need for triathlon as well. Because if my legs never get tired from kicking, then you have a clear element on how important the kicks are. And as I said, to be able to have the ability to turn off your legs and use it just as a counterbalance to your arm strength and to move forward an arm strength in a race, you need to be able to master the 6B kick. That is just my standpoint on that.
Yeah, I think that's all valuable advice and thoughts. And I'll touch on what you've said. Like, our limbs are connected. Our arms are connected to our torso, and our legs are connected as well. So you can't. you can't hope to perform extremely well and get maximum propulsion through the water if you're dragging your feet and your legs through the water. You need to, everything needs to work together.
Yeah.
So if you can work on that kick and improve your kick over time, it's going to make everything so much easier, more efficient. And, at the end of the day, you are going to be, so you'll conserve your energy, and then you're going to be able to perform better when you get to the cycle and the run, if you're doing a triathlon, for example.
So that I jump in, and I want to go on that, maybe ask the question then afterwards, or they should ask themselves. So if a triathlon, so the premise is why they don't do kicks or why they don't train kicks is because they don't need it for cycling and running. And in a pool, they just want to get this perfect technique which they've seen somewhere, maybe with me, this 2B kick, and say, oh yeah, that's the technique I need to do, so I need to do it out of my arms. Or they see Ledecky and say, oh yeah, Ledecky is a 1500, 800, 400 meter freestyle superstar in swimming in a pool. Just for the people who don't know, I want to get this technique and I try to imitate that. But then I ask them always, but how do you do drills to get better? Because drills you need to do. You will do it in running, you will do it inside, but how do you do that? I mean, you cannot see a technique and say, oh, I try this. You need to also be able to train, to do drills. One arm, then the other one, then you need to do high elbows, because this is all the things, the high elbow catch, a proper length of a stroke. These are all the things which these people have mastered. And even I or Ledecky has mastered. Phelps, like everyone, has mastered to be able to have such a technique. So then, if they can't do a 6B kick or a proper kick, how will they be able to do drills? Will be then my question, right? I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. And this is akin to intervals. This links to intervals, right? So let's just go back, and if we talk about plodding up and down, doing the same thing for an hour long, your form's going to go and things aren't going to progress as you wish. Now, if you don't do any drills whatsoever and you just swim full stroke to as fast as whatever you can do, or following the technique that you think is the right technique, you're not going to improve. So similar to intervals, in breaking that long distance down, drills is breaking down the stroke. Yeah. And then you focus on different aspects of the stroke. And earlier when I said that, that our limbs are all connected, if you, I see a lot of things, a lot of common things that triathletes need to improve on. And because everything is connected in your body, these things are all linked. So, for example, people are worried about getting a mouthful of water. So they'll over-rotate their head. Yeah. So because they over-rotate their head, it moves their shoulders. Because their shoulders are connected to their head and their neck, they move. And then you start to move the rest of your body. You snake. And then because you start to snake through the water, they will then almost do a leg split kick to try and counterbalance that movement. And then you go too far one way, and then you end up trying to pull your arm back over, snake the other way, and then you repeat the other way when you breathe the other way. So this is why it's really important to have that fundamental foundation of a really good leg kick. And obviously breathing is really important. So these two things are, I think, really important. And obviously there are loads of other parts of the stroke. If you're looking at the arm pull, we've got the entry, the catch, the pull, all of these things.
But it all starts with the kick and the breathing. You're right. I mean, it starts with, and these are also the things which you can train individually. I mean, you can start to train the breathing as soon as your head is on the water. You breathe out. You take a board and you start to kick. And the other thing is, which you said about the whole structure, if you're you're snailing in the water around and you do this overshooting or too far there and you try to counterbalance everything and your head is too high. If your kick is properly done, a 6B kick, or if you started to master that one and you started to master kicks, it's also the thing that it's like when you have a hard drive and it's going on full speed. And that is proper physics. That's just physics. Or if you have a wheel and you spin it as fast as you cannot just turn it this way. It won't work. If the wheel is spinning this way as fast as it can, a hard drive, it will always give you a counter. It's not possible to move. Then we come back to this bicycle. If you ride your bike and you're fast, you're the safest you can be, because it won't just fall over. It won't, because there is a kinetic energy behind it, which is a force that it will stay stable. And if you've mastered the kick, your body, or at least your lower body, will always be stable. So it doesn't allow you to turn too much. It doesn't allow you to turn. It doesn't.
Yeah.
A lot of movements are already solved, which a lot of people do wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, I think that these demonstrations that you're giving are good, but I think you're sneakily doing it to show everybody that you've got a tracking camera on your iPad Pro.
Maybe it's like that. So
look at him moving around. There we go.
You can see me.
Oh, look at that! Beautiful.
No. So I guess a key point why it's so important for me. The basis of swimming starts with kicking, and if you haven't mastered that, I say, and there is always exceptions. Talk about Tom Dolan. Go and look him up on YouTube and whatsoever, how he could do it. He did it with a lot of quantity. I mean, a lot. We talk about the 100, 180 Ks a week training. Like, it is possible. There is always exceptions. But if you didn't master your kicks properly, you will not get to the max which your body can do. That is my statement in such.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think for now we leave it at that, and we continue the series, I think.
Yeah, good to chat, Marcus. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you
See
so
you,
much.
bud.
Cheers. Bye.